Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first lecture of Chapter 3, in which we will take a look at common test types that we usually conduct in the process of testing mobile applications. Now, one of these test types is installability. As the name implies, installability testing deals with the process of installing mobile apps on mobile devices, but it's not limited to only installation, but it also extends to uninstalling and upgrading them. But before installing a mobile app, we need first to get the app, right? So, why don't we take a look at the different approaches to install a mobile application? The first approach and the most common one is application stores. Marketplace stores are the default way of downloading and installing mobile applications on mobile devices, also known as platform stores. A well-known example is the Google Play Store for Android devices and the Apple App Store for iOS devices. These stores offer a vast library of applications ranging from games and productivity tools to educational apps and beyond. Users simply search for the app they need, tap install, and the app gets downloaded and installed seamlessly. Now, the previous approach applies to all normal applications. But what about enterprise apps? Well, organizations distribute apps internally to their employees or users through enterprise app stores. These are not available in public app stores but can be accessed via links or specialized distribution platforms like Monkey App or App Center. For instance, a company might have an internal clock in and out application that employees download using a secure link provided by the IT department. Now, if you don't remember what enterprise apps are, you should refer to Chapter 1, where we explain the different types of mobile applications. Anyway, the second approach is called sideloading. Sideloading is a method more commonly seen on Android devices where users can download an application from an external source and install it manually. This is useful for applications that are not available on the Google Play Store, maybe for beta testing new versions before they are officially released. To sideload an application, you usually need to adjust your device settings to allow installations from unknown sources. Imagine you found a cool new game on a developer's website. You download the APK file, open it, and follow the instructions to install the app on your device. It's worth mentioning that this method is not the safest way for obvious reasons, and some operating systems, such iOS, are strict against this approach. Another way to install mobile applications is through desktop applications that connect to your mobile device. These applications can download mobile apps to your desktop, which can then be transferred to your mobile device via USB cable or nowadays via Bluetooth. This method can be used for managing apps installations, updates, and even uninstallations. For examples, iTunes used to be a popular tool for iPhone users to manage their apps, allowing them to download an application on their computer and then sync it to their iPhones. Similarly, tools like Android App Installer enables users to manage their Android apps through their desktop computers. These methods show the versatility and convenience of installing mobile applications on mobile devices, adapting to different needs and preferences. And understanding these approaches is crucial, especially when conducting installability testing. Excellent. So I think we have mentioned that the scope of installability testing is not limited to installing mobile applications, but it extends to uninstalling and also updating the mobile app to a newer version. Another thing we want to encounter quickly is the installation methods. The first method and the most abundant one is the over-the-air method, or simply OTA. In OTA, we use Wi-Fi or cellular data to download the app. However, we can also utilize data cables for installing mobile applications. Remember when we talked about using desktop applications such as iTunes to install mobile apps? This is one example showing using cables to install mobile applications. Great. Now, when it comes to installability testing, there is a lot more than just hitting the install button and hoping for the best. Let's dive into the key considerations to ensure that your app delivers a smooth and seamless experience from installation to everyday use. Starting by testing the installation process using both over-the-air and data cables. For instance, you might download an app via Wi-Fi, or you might use a USB cable to transfer it directly from your computer. Make sure it installs correctly on both internal and external memory if your device supports external storage, of course. Think about the last time you downloaded an app on your mobile device. It should just work, right? Now, uninstalling an app is another task we should not forget about. When users uninstall an application, it should remove all associated files without leaving any traces. Imagine deleting a game you no longer play. It should leave no random files cluttering your storage. Upgrading a mobile application is another aspect we want to make sure it works as expected. Test the update process thoroughly to ensure that data is not lost during the upgrade process, especially during major version changes. An example would be updating a fitness app and still finding all your workout history in place after the update. Now, reinstalling an application is another aspect we must consider. Consider this scenario where users might uninstall and then reinstall the app. Test both options of retaining apps data is selected and retain apps data is not selected. When users choose to keep their data, reinstallations should bring back their settings and data. For example, if you reinstall a note-taking app, all your notes should be still there. On the other hand, when users opt not to keep their data, the app should start fresh, as it had never been installed before. Think of it like a reset button, giving users a clean slate. Next, let's move to testing interruptions happening during installations. Sometimes installations get interrupted. We need to test what happens if the device shuts down during installation or uninstallation. Will it resume smoothly when it turns back on? And we can think of something like downloading a large-sized mobile game, but the phone dies halfway through. When you charge it back up, the download should pick up where it left off without any issues. Also, test what would happen if the internet disconnects during an update. Will the process gracefully pause and resume, or will it corrupt the app? Another aspect we must consider is permission-related testing. Permissions can be a tricky part of the installation process. So we need to ensure that if users reject certain permissions during the installation process, of course, the app should handle it gracefully. Also, the app should inform users about the limited functionality they might face due to the denied permissions. For example, if a navigation application can't access the location because the user denied the GPS access, It should notify you that it can't provide directions unless you enable them. Now, some apps require administrative rights provided by jailbreaking or rooting the device. Jailbreaking is related to iPhones and rooting is more of an Android thing. This process gives users deeper control over their devices, but it also exposes them to potential security vulnerabilities. Most apps do not need this level of access. For example, a standard social media application should work perfectly on non-jailbroken or non-rooted devices. Anyway, most platforms do not support these practices due to security risks. The most important thing to recognize here is that unless the app is specifically requires a jailbroken or rooted devices, you do not need to bring a rooted or a jailbroken device and conduct testing on it. And I think this wraps everything for this lecture. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to post in the QA section. And as always, take care and I'll see you on the next one.